What's up, guys? My name is JDCut5 and welcome to FC25, where we have a brand new Create a Club series. Before we do get into the series though, it'd be much appreciated if you haven't done so already to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. After the amount of success we had on the previous series on FC24, there was no shadow of a doubt that we had to bring it back in FC25. The return of JD Cook FC and another hit as the English League. Really excited to get this one going. A little bit of a different concept, obviously, with new features that FC25 has got to offer. And let's get straight into this particular one. In terms of the replacing the team, we went for Accrington Stanley. And in terms of the rival ahead for us in League 2, we did go for Colchester. I wish you could actually select rivals that were above this particular league. Obviously, if you were to get promoted, you might not even play them ever again. Obviously, with starting the actual series up itself, we've got some whole new things to customise, and that includes our kits. And we've gone for a full retro feeling in terms of the kits. We've gone for Umbro in terms of the sponsorship, as you can see, and then we've gone for the main colour of being blue and white there. Just like a nice little feature there, to be honest, a little nice kit design. And then we've gone for the half and half with black and white, and then we've gone for a very vibrant yellow and black for our third kit with a green goalkeeper kit. Really interesting to see the actual different designs they have. They've changed it up slightly. I want to go with something different. We'll start with Umbro and then we'll kind of go ourselves in further and maybe get a decent sponsorship deal in time. Obviously, we have so much to be able to introduce at the start of this particular save, so we're just going to be doing our badge, our stadium, and everything else. But before we kind of get into things like that, we'll have that obviously overrunning, but I just wanted to talk about what the actual goal is for this particular series. Obviously, basing it off the last series of how successful it was, I do want to change it up to some degree. I would like to have it where it's slightly different and implement different features and so on. The key factor is I really want to implement some youth systems into the actual squad itself, try and use your youth academy with how kind of a different regime it is this season and so on. So it'll be nice to be able to have a decent squad that is of a certain average age, but at the same time I will be bringing in experience. It's hard to be able to kind of choose who you want at the start, especially starting in League 2. We're starting it right to the bottom. I still wish they could implement a National League system. We might see that in future time, but unfortunately we have to start ourselves in League 2. But for now, there is a kind of clear goal for what we want to do ourselves. Main focus in this particular season will be just go focusing on the league. I'm not too interested in the cups for now. I know they can get you decent prize money going on for the future forward in terms of the seasons, but I think it's wise just remaining one primarily focused now and then hopefully betting ourselves into it as we go up the leagues and kind of looking for different cup competitions as time goes on. So that is the objective to that sort of degree. Realistically, I would like to get promoted in the first season, whether that's through the playoffs or an automatic position, just for the sake of obviously I'd like to get up the leagues. Even if we are sitting ourselves in the Premier League for a few seasons before we actually do anything, at least we can kind of get ourselves into that sort of position. And again, it's just the case of trying to get a system implemented, see what we can do as a club and so on, get some experience in, get some youth in at the same time, use the academy and try and do everything that we can possibly can. In terms of the actual squad itself, we're going to be starting on the lowest star that you can possibly do, which is a half star. The expectations will be to be a football giant. We're giving ourselves a fairly decent budget with 5 million, as you can see, but bearing in mind we are going to have to make a lot of changes to the squad, and that's most of the time going to be on free agents. If you watch my previous series on FC24, you know how much I love signing free agents, for the simple fact is you're only spending on the wage and the signing bonus, saving you a lot on the players and kind of building up from there. There's so much that is different to this particular game compared to last, and there's so much to be implemented on that sort of side, and we do have youth tournament matches as well that I'll talk a little bit more in depth as the point. So we won't be seeing it in this particular episode, but hopefully in the next one we will. We've got wind effects, weather effects, all these different things that actually are going to implement the players and the ball, which is really interesting to see. Brings a sort of realism into the game. I'm not too sure if I'm a massive fan of it, but at the same time it's another aspect that we haven't seen in an FC game before, so that'll be interesting to see what actually happens. In terms of the actual development rate, you can actually change as well. I've just gone for a particular normal. It would be interesting to see what it would be on fast, but at the same time I don't want to have youth players that are going to be going up the overall levels too quick, and I would like to develop them gradually, just how it would normally be. I feel like if you just put them on fast and you're just developing players too quick and you're making your team way too overpowered. Transfer negotiations aren't going to change any whatsoever. The only thing that I'm going to change is the actual scouting for star players and general players, because I feel like it is too long for how long it takes to scout and get your overall and transfer and so on. So we're just going to speed up that process, and hopefully we should see a gradual process in time with that in regard. So it's interesting to see that we can change that at the same time. Another new feature within the actual game itself. And it's nice that they have implemented a few things. We're not just going onto a game that just looks kind of, the designs are a little bit different, but exactly the base game is pretty much the same. I don't want that to be the case. Currency, we're going to sterling. International job offers, I'm not interested in, because you just get bombarded throughout the season, and it's not something that I'll be implementing in this particular save. But that is it for the actual settings itself, and we now are a new team, JD Cook FC. There you can see JD Cook lifting up the shirt, and that is going to be the start of a new era. This is our youth team, as you can see. I'm probably going to implement Mason Cunningham. I think he looks a pretty good prospect, with potentially going up to 94 rated, the highest potential with Leeds there also. But we're going to be playing with these youth players in the youth tournament, so hopefully we can develop them in the tournaments itself. And I thought it would be wise to be able to implement the scout that we do have in some sort of continent itself. I've gone for him to see if we can get some sort of South American talent in Brazil. It'll be really interesting to see what happens, and I'm looking for a striker role and a cam role, so interesting to see if anything comes of that. He's not the highest rated scout, but I don't have loads of money to be spending on scouts as of the moment. If he does come back with something, then it's a bonus, and if he doesn't, then it's just one of those. To be honest, we haven't spent anything on the scout. At the end of the day, we've only spent to be able to kind of get him out to the country, which I think it was 72,000 for the 3 months that we've got implemented. But again, interested to see how the scout network has changed and how the youth system, and we do have a youth tournament to play, and which we will be seeing in the next episode. As I mentioned, I would like to be able to promote Mason Cunningham. He looks a very good prospect in terms of the striker. Decent bit of pace. Shooting aspects aren't as good, but we can really develop him and get something out of him as a squad player. This is the squad, obviously playing as a create a club. We are going to be starting with players that it's completely generated within the actual game itself. No players that you can see on your particular screen right now are any players that you're going to be familiar with whatsoever, because they are all AI generated. We've got a bit of a mix in terms of ratings and so on. Our highest rated being 64, our lowest rating being 50. So it's interesting to see what the kind of versatile is in the actual squad itself. There are some decent players, and there are some positions that I would like to change at the same time. The main factor in my signings, I'd like to sign a goalkeeper, a striker, a winger, and a wing back with two defenders, two centre backs primarily. I'm going to be changing the formation, probably a 4-3-3 attack, so we'll have a cam with two centre mids sitting behind. My main focus is the defence. Obviously, we need to score goals at the same time, but I reckon I can boost the attacking options in signing a striker and a winger at the same time. We're not going to be able to kind of fill the positions that we want to straight away. It's going to be a gradual process where we're upgrading the side each and every individual season, but that will come in time, and with success will become better transfers. A new feature that I've noticed as well is the social media factors. As you can see, a post actually made by the club, so it's interesting to see that people will have comments on it, some good, some bad. Another new feature in it that kind of changes it up in terms of the news, that it's kind of profiled instead of just going onto the news features that you would in FC24. It's now displayed through social media, and you now have actual companies that would normally be in real life, like Fabrizio Romano and The Athletic posting on Twitter. So interesting to see that sort of factor within the game itself. In terms of going for the training plan, you can actually set as a particular automated training plan that you assert a certain threshold on each one, and that is all out performance, performance focused, all out energy, and energy focused. This is all new to me, just like it is for yourself, so this might change over time, but this is what I've set out for now as a particular threshold, and hopefully we can kind of keep that as the season goes on. Also, with the factor with coaches, I would like to implement each coach for a particular field being attack, defence, goalkeeping, and midfield. For the simple fact is it will upgrade the players that we've got around us, and it will give them greater development as the season goes on. We get a particular budget throughout the season. We've got a weekly budget of 61,000 before we had the first coach. As you can see, depending on the rating and so on, depending on the cost of the particular coach, then it will dwindle as time goes on. As you can see, we're now down to 50,000. So you can pretty much sign high-rated coaches for the field that you would want to select, which is a really good beneficial factor, I find at the end of the day, and it will develop the players quicker. They'll focus on the particular roles in that field, and then once again, they will upgrade them as time goes on. And obviously, we can implement more than one coach as time goes on. Also, I've just done that for the time being. If we've got any more money to spend, then we will kind of upgrade as we can and make the ideal stars to make up. Now, going on to the transfers, as I mentioned, I want to sign a centre-back, and the first player that I looked at was Israel Reyes. Don't know too much about the player itself, 24 years of age. It gave me some sort of base kind of options in terms of what he actually has got to develop and so on, and he looks pretty fast. He looks like a decent defending stat. He looks very athletic at the same time, and I feel like he'd be a great addition to the side. Being 24 years of age, he's still got a lot of development in him, and he's not too pricey in terms of the wages either. He wanted a 1-year deal. We've given him a 2-year deal for the simple fact I don't want to be renewing the contract at the end of the season, and we got him on a simple wage of $10,000 a week. So that's a really good signing for us. He will wear the number 6 shirt this season, and that is a very good addition to the defensive option. So Israel Reyes is our first signing, and we're going to be pretty much looking at the free agent list for the simple fact it will save us so much money, and we'll be able to sign a lot more players compared to signing players on an actual transfer budget itself. The second player you'll be quite familiar with, Jamal Lewis. He actually played for Norwich City for a fair while. He's actually playing in the Brazilian league for Sao Paulo, but funny enough, he was on the free agent list. I will definitely take it. He's looking at a 3-year deal, a crucial role, simple as in terms of the actual deal itself. I offered him $5,000 to start with. He wanted a much greater bonus there, as you can see, with a 9.3 kind of wage weekly, and then he wanted a very high wage. I went for the signing on bonus, but not the actual bonus itself with a below it. I feel like that's a decent deal, and Lewis will sport the number 25 shirt. So we've got a left back and we've got a centre back. So great additions to the defensive role, some experience at the same time, as well as a lot of development that can be done within the roles itself. Jamal Lewis isn't the fastest of wing backs, but I feel like he can offer a lot in terms of the defensive duties that he will play out in the side, and that is another free agent through the door. It's a price rating of A being for free, and he is 69 rated, so a very good rating for a League 2 side. Going on even further in terms of the attacking options, I found out a USA player, Alejandro Zidnoyas. I might be saying that completely wrong, but he looks a very good winger, it has to be said. A lot of pace, good shooting attributes, and I reckon he'll fit into the side just perfectly. There's many free agents that were on the list on FC24, but I did not want to sign any of the players that I previously had in my last series, for the simple fact as I wanted to make it slightly different. His wage budget was very, very extravagant, and there was no way that I was going to be able to sign him on the wages that he was demanding at that point in time. He's got a recommended wage of $18,000. I've gone for $14,000 and a sign-on bonus of $31,000, and he is quite happy to accept that as a deal. So he will wear the number 7 shirt, and that is a very good signing. I think that's going to be our best signing as a club, in all fairness. A very good winger. He's got a lot of pace about him. He's good at shooting at the same time. He can play on either wing, being the left and the right. So at the same time, he's versatile, and I feel like it's a very good option to have as an attacking option. So again, another price rating of an A, because we haven't played anything for him, and he's a decent rating also, as you can see it just pops up any second now, and he's got a rating of 74 rated, actually 75 there, funny enough. So interesting to see. So another good addition to the squad. Now, I've already signed one centre-back in Reyes, but I wanted another centre-back, and on the free agents list was Daniel Amati, playing for Leicester for many seasons and been around some really experienced leagues, it has to be said. I was surprised to see him on the free agent list. He's still got a lot to give, 29 years of age, 71 rated. Not the fastest of centre-backs, but at the same time, in terms of the defensive duties that he will play out, I reckon he'll play a significant role in the lower leagues. A 10.5 wage, a high signing on bonus at the start, it had to be said. I wanted to lower that to a slight degree just to make it easier on ourselves, for the simple fact I don't want to be paying out too much. It's gone up to 12.5 and 72,000 on the signing on bonus, which isn't too bad, but again, the signing on bonus is a little bit too hefty for me, so I'm going to have to lower that just a slight bit. I reckon it was not really worth haggling to a degree, so I've gone for a 50,000 signing on bonus and a 12.5 weekly wage. So Daniel Amati is through the door, and he will wear the number 27 shirt. A lot of experience in Daniel Amati, and I feel like he'll be play a good captain's role within that defence. So you think we've got the defence of Reyes, Daniel Amati, and now Jamal Lewis. That's a really, really good fit for ourselves. I think he'll play a vital part within the squad, and I'm really, really happy about that particular signing. Going on further, our striker options aren't that large whatsoever, and I think we've only got one striker in Farmer. I've obviously promoted Cunningham from the youth setup to the senior squad, but I did look at Charles Jong. He's 16 years old, and he's already 61 rated, and I can only assume he will go up from there. Hasn't got a lot of pace, but in terms of being able to develop him as a player further on, I feel like it's a no-brainer whatsoever. He's on low wages there, as you can see, and another player through the door as a striker. The last option I was looking at was our goalkeeper options. It's always vital to sign a decent goalkeeper, bearing in mind that we're going to be coming up against some decent strikers throughout the League Two. Even though that we're at the lowest league, we're still going to be facing some good attacking sides. I saw Manu, he's 35 years old, he's 75 rated, he's still got a few years to give. We've given him a 2-year deal. He originally wanted a 1 year, but again, I don't want the same situation where we're having to renew his contract at the end of the season. He will be our number one this particular season, and hopefully for the next season also, and I reckon he'll be a decent keeper between the sticks, to be honest. Probably one of the highest rated keepers within the league, and for the wages that he wanted and so on, it was an absolute no-brainer. We've even got some players that are lower rated than himself and on the exact same wage, so it was absolutely perfect and a really, really experienced keeper through the doors. Now, a new feature that's been implemented in FC25 is the tactics role, and as you can see, it can be very complicated. Each individual player has a particular role that you're able to set, and then you can set them to how you want them to play in game. I'm probably going to be playing around with this as the season goes on for the simple fact is I don't know what's going to suit us to a particular team. At the same time, it's all about trial and error of this particular one. It could find that some of them work better than others, but at the same time, without trying it, I'm not too sure. I've kind of gone for what best suited the players, and as you can see, if they've got a plus next to their particular role, that it's normally the best suited for themselves. Again, the formation suits the actual custom tactics in terms of the actual kind of way that you're playing. If you're going part of the bus, if you're going tiki-taka, there's all these different things that you can implement as a squad, but they are my tactics for this particular kind of going on forward, but we may see them change as time goes on. Not many departures to report. The only departure was our main keeper that was originally in the squad. Obviously, we don't need a main keeper now. Well, we've got a main keeper in Manir, so we don't need a main keeper in Zachary Holland, and he's gone for a transfer fee of $240,000 to Port Vale. So here comes our first game. We're only going to be playing one game in this particular episode, and then obviously as the time goes on, we'll be seeing 5 games an episode, with 3 being played, 2 being simulated. And our first game away from home is against Colchester United. Really excited for this one. Not too sure what to expect. A lot of trial and error in terms of the actual team that we've got. We are actually playing our best side that we can possibly play on paper. At the same time, we might make changes as time goes on, and we might see a few more signings as time goes on, also depending on where I feel I need to kind of get strengthened and so on. Bearing in mind the AI players, I'm not going to know too much about until they actually start playing themselves, so it's a bit more of a trial and error as time goes on. We're going to be sporting the third kit in the yellow and black, and it suits us really well, to be honest. I'm really liking the retro style with the sponsor being Umbro and so on. And one thing that I'm loving is that they actually implemented how it should be in terms of the intro towards the game. Obviously, we never saw any of this in FC24, and it skipped straight to kickoff. This time, we do see the lineup there, as you can see. So Colchester United's team there, as you can see, and it will pan to JD Cook FC in a minute, where I'll run you through the lineup. Really, really excited for this one. It'd be nice to be able to start this season off with 3 points, but it's easier said than done with the first game. Obviously, it's going to be hard to be able to get 3 points against a strong side in Colchester United. I expect them to be in the top 6 this season, in this particular season there. And as you can see, we're sporting the 4-3-3 formation with a cam roll just above there. We've gone for Munir in goal, Bobby Gibbons there with Amati and Reyes as centre-backs, Jamal Lewis and the right left-back option. We've got Tommy Elliott, we've got Isaac Prince, Ibrahim Welch, Alexander Zinayas, Charles John and Austin Parkin on the left-hand side. A little bit different in terms of the setup, in terms of not displaying the full formation quick enough and then displaying that at final 11, but I'm sure we'll speed up in time. So let's get straight into this game and let's see what we can do. 16 minutes into this particular tie. It was a bit of a slow start, it has to be said, trying to find our feet in this particular fixture and just see what we can do as a squad. It was Colchester that got themselves started off the quicker out of the two, as Payne looks to be able to find an option on the right hand side, finding Hunt. Jamal Lewis covers his lines really quite nice, to be honest, but he doesn't get to the tackle as the ball is whipped in there. Daniel Marty first to the header as it falls back out to Welch then in the middle of the park. He finds his teammate on the right hand side. Really good option there, with many times to be able to kind of go forward there as Parkin picks it up on the left hand side. It looked like it was going out of play, but he nods it onto Welch onto Prince onto John. That's a really good chance for John, really good turn, and that is a very good save made by the Colchester United keeper as Macy clears his lines. Very good chance in the opening 20 minutes or so, but it wasn't to be on that occasion as we continue on Not so long after that particular chance, Colchester United fancied them chances on the left-hand side as Gordon picks it up with an option to get the ball into the area there, as you can see. He looks to be able to play it onto the outside of Bishop, but a really poor challenge at the same time as he clatters the Colchester United attacker. Nothing happened in terms of the attack itself, but a yellow card has been issued to Bobby Gibbons, and that's the first yellow card of this particular game. Colchester United, as the time went on, they really grew into the game, to be honest, offering a lot of support, and you can see it's a team that's kind of been well managed, and they've a lot of players that have kind of familiarised themselves as the season's gone on in the previous times, and you can tell that as a team that is gelled together compared to ourselves, that is a bunch of new players. As you can see, with an option to be able to get another shot off there, Manure brought into action as it has gone out for a corner kick for Colchester United. Really good chance for themselves to get the ball into the area there as we look to clear it, but it falls back out to Colchester there, as you can see, with an option to be able to kind of get the shot off, but they can't. Elliott tries to clear. Now, as you can see, Lewis tries to clear, and we're now going to go forward on the counter-attack, see if we can create an option for ourselves as Welch looks to find Charles Jong. He would have been offside, but United actually intercept the particular play with an option to be able to see if they can go on the counter-attacking option themselves, having to watch it on a yellow card there, Gibbons, but he does really well in the tackle as we find ourselves in a really good opportunity to be able to get the ball forward. So Denias picks it up, he finds John there, John looks to turn, he could get the shot off, he finds Welch though, really good opportunity, he seems to can't get the shot off, it's John, and it's straight at the keeper. Very good chance if he put it either side of the keeper, then it would have been in, but unfortunately on that occasion it was saved. Colchester United go on the counter-attack, and I find they're really, really good on the counter-attack, to be honest. Really fast in the play, really quick in the movement in terms of their passing and so on, and they're really agile in their moves. As Reed picks it up in the middle of the park, assessing their options, they have to kind of go back to go forward there, as you can see, as Bishop picks it up, going back to Flanagan. Flanagan with an option to be able to stride forward, finding his teammate Payne there, really trying to close him down, but at the same time, we're not successful in any attempt whatsoever, as Hunt picks it up. Payne makes the overlapping run. It's a really good run by Payne, it has to be said. Jamal Lewis looks to be able to see if he can cover his lines at the same time as Prince is trying to cover too. Jamal Lewis trying to get a tackle in there as Hunt picks it up. Really good tackle from Lewis, it has to be said, but the clearance is... It's now Tavide on the ball with an option to turn the defender. He's done so, and that is a very solid save made by Bonnier, and it has gone out for a corner kick. Colchester with another chance from the corner to see what they can do. Bishop to whip the corner in, then decent delivery on the edge of the area. It's headed there. Bonnier saves it, falls out to the rebound, and unfortunately that is 1-0 to Colchester on literally probably the final bit of play of this particular half. As you can see, it was way past the additional +1 minutes, but the referee had no interest in blowing the full-time whistle before the corner was taken, and they have taken their chance. A bit of a sloppy bit of defending at the same time. Decent save by Bonnier. I don't think he could have done anything in that situation, but unfortunately the defenders couldn't leap on the opportunity to be able to clear the ball, and we're now trailing 1-0 at the break. Looking for a quick second half start, otherwise things are going to be looking slightly bleak for us, it has to be said, and we're really going to need a quick goal to be able to kind of bed ourselves into the game. Not really many opportunities for our side in the first half, so let's hope that changes in the second, with Reyes looking to be able to see if he can get some defensive duties in there as Amati covers his lines there, looking to be able to go out on the wing there, as you can see, as Amati's really strong in the tackle. He keeps the ball in, he finds Parkin on the left hand side to use his pace there. He's got a decent bit of pace about him, Parkin, and I'm actually liking him on that left hand side, it has to be said. He looks to cut in on the right, finding his option there as John is in the middle. Many yellow shots offering support, one of them is Denias there, not many things being seen by himself, but he cuts in on the left, and what an opportunity that is. He's taken it perfectly, nestling into the bottom corner. It's Colchester 1, JD Cook 1. Really, really good finish. He cuts in on the left, doesn't hesitate to shoot whatsoever, and he nails it into the bottom corner. As you can see, JD Cook is very happy about that one. Really, really good stuff there, and that is a great opportunity taken, and hopefully that means kind of go on further in this particular game, because we really, really now to kind of get on further and start this game better in the second half. Looking back on that finish, though, that is a curler into the bottom corner there, as you can see. Really, really good stuff, and luckily now we have opened up our League 2 account with a decent finish. Substitutions to be made now later on into the second half. Tomlinson's going to come off for Parkin there. We're going to switch Zayas to the left hand side as he is versatile. He can play either wing, and Cunningham is going to make his first full professional debut on for Charles John. 9 minutes left at this particular time. Nothing's really happened after that particular goal, it has to be said. Both sides just cancelling each other out in the play, and no opportunities created whatsoever as we look to be able to see if we can snatch a goal late on in this particular game. Colchester United, though, looking to go on the attack there as Reed picks it up, finding his teammate there, as you can see. Gibbons not strong in the tackle whatsoever as he's beaten there, and Marty covers his lines. Really, really good stuff. Advantage to being played, but a corner kick has been given after a block made by Daniel Marty, and it has to be a corner for Colchester United. They scored from a corner in the first half. Can they do the same again in the second half then, as we make another change there, as you can see, for a midfield option now? Elliott coming off for Wood, I'm pretty sure, as the ball is whipped into the area. Really good ball in, it has to be said. Marty looks to clear his lines, and I think that pretty much is a goal line clearance, and if it wasn't to be the case, I think that would have been nestling into the bottom corner, leaving Manure rooted in that moment in time. Colchester United still remain in possession, though, even losing out in that corner as they look to be able to stride on even further forward in their play. He's looked to be able to see if he can get on the left hand side. Gibbons really getting beaten on that right hand side, bearing in mind he is on a yellow, but Reyes with really good interception, finding his teammate Welch in the middle. He looks to find Wood. Wood, fresh substitute there, as he looks to be able to use his fresh legs to be able to stride further forward. Not many yellow shirts in support. He's taken out, advantage being played. He finds Welch though, really good opportunity. So Nias is free on the left hand side, and it is a goal. It's 2-1 to JD Cook, and that is an absolute sucker punch to Colchester United's hope in this particular game of picking up any sort of points, because it looks to be JD Cook are going to be walking away with all 3 points. What a moment that is. Really, really good stuff. So happy to be able to kind of walk out with 3 points in the end. Bearing in mind, the game was pretty bleak, I have to say. There was no real entertainment about it whatsoever. There was no real end-to-end stuff. If anything, Colchester United probably deserved the points out of that, but it wasn't to be on that particular opportunity, because we have nailed them in the last few seconds in this particular tie, and we do remain victorious in this tie. Colchester 1, JD Cook 2, and that is a really, really good way to be able to open our account in League 2. It wasn't easy whatsoever, but really happy to be able to do it in the style that we did. Alejandro, really, really good in the play. 2 attempts, 2 goals, and that's exactly what you want from your main attackers. Really, really happy with the performance. It could have been better, it could have been much worse at the end of the day, but at the same time, we've come out victorious and we have won our game, and our first one of the season. Obviously, the table is going to change as we go out through the season. It's actually changed as it labels promotion and the promotion playoff places, which is interesting to see, another new feature in the table for the season. At the same time, though, we've got our first 3 points of the season. That puts us 4th for the moment in time. Not many teams winning their first games. Only 6 teams there winning our first games, which is actually really interesting to see. But at the same time, I'm really happy how we've started. 3 points in the bag. Many more things to learn with the features that we've got to use in FC25. And I'll definitely show you more to come in the second episode. We'll be covering the Youth Academy. We'll be playing in the youth tournaments. We'll be displaying more games in the next episode. And maybe just a few more signings with the small budget that we have got left. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. It's been a long time coming, and the episodes will be coming more frequently as the coming weeks. But that is it for this particular episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.